Most people cry an average of once or twice a month, but somewhere right now, you just teared up at a commercial, at a stranger's kindness, at a song you've heard 100 times. And before the tear even dried, you asked yourself the same question you always ask. What is wrong with me? Nothing. But that's not what they told you. Because while everyone else seemed to move through the world with their feelings safely under glass, yours have always lived just beneath the surface, ready, present, close. And you spent years apologizing for that, shrinking it, hiding it in bathroom stalls and behind sunglasses and in the practiced art of looking up at the ceiling so it stops. But here's what nobody tells you. You weren't always ashamed of this. There was a version of you, younger, before the comments started, before someone laughed, before you were called too sensitive for the first time and felt the word land like a verdict. You used to feel things fully and freely. You cried when the movie was sad because the movie was sad. You cried when you were overwhelmed because your body was simply telling the truth. You hadn't learned yet that your truth made other people uncomfortable. Then the world corrected you. A parent who said, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about." A classroom that went quiet when your eyes filled up. A relationship where you were told you were too much, too emotional, too reactive, too deep. And so you started monitoring yourself, editing yourself, building a slight internal delay between feeling and expression, always scanning the room before you let anything show. You didn't stop feeling everything. You just started feeling it alone. And that adaptation, that learned self-surveillance, is not a personal failure. It's a response, a very intelligent one. But here's what the people who corrected you never understood about how your nervous system actually works. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Dr. Stephen Porges developed what's now known as polyvagal theory. In plain terms, he discovered that the human nervous system doesn't just have two settings, fight or flight and rest. There's a third pathway, one that governs your capacity for social connection, your sensitivity to others' emotional states, and your ability to detect danger or beauty before anyone else in the room does. People who cry easily tend to operate with what researchers call a highly responsive vagal system. Your nervous system is not malfunctioning. It is, in fact, doing exactly what a highly attuned nervous system does. It responds deeply, quickly, fully. You are not failing to control your emotions. You are succeeding at feeling them with a precision most people never access. That distinction is not small. That distinction is everything. But here's what nobody tells you. That precision has a return address, and it goes all the way back. Child development researchers have found that children who grow up in emotionally unpredictable environments, where a parent's mood was the weather you had to forecast every single morning, develop heightened emotional radar. Your nervous system learned early to read a room, to sense a shift in tone, to pick up on what wasn't being said. Tears became data. Tears were your body's way of processing inputs that were simply too large for any other outlet. It's not a flaw. It's a blueprint your younger self drew to survive. The child who cried easily often became the one who noticed things, who felt responsible for the emotional temperature of the house, who became fluent in subtext before they even knew the word. And that blueprint, written in your earliest years, is still running, still protecting you, still translating the world at a frequency most people can't hear. But there is a cost, and you already know what it is. Chronic emotional sensitivity, when unexamined, is exhausting. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that people high in emotional reactivity report significantly higher rates of burnout, social withdrawal, and difficulty recovering from interpersonal conflict. You felt this, the way one hard conversation can derail your entire day, the way you carry other people's pain as if it were your own luggage, because to you, it is. The world is louder for you, more textured, more present, and that is a gift that sometimes feels like a weight you didn't ask to carry. Here is where most videos would tell you to practice emotional regulation, to breathe through it, to build a wall. But what if the goal was never a wall? A landmark study from the University of California, Berkeley, led by Dr. Keltner, found that people who cry in response to beauty, music, or others' pain show measurably higher levels of pro-social behavior, meaning they are statistically more likely to help, to connect, to build trust with others. Your tears are not weakness broadcasting itself. They are signal. They are the reason people tell you things they've never told anyone else. The reason strangers feel safe with you in elevators and waiting rooms and first conversations. You are not too much. You are, for the people that matter, exactly enough. Society calls you oversensitive. The real word is emotionally fluent. You speak a language of feeling that most people have been trained out of. You translate what others suppress. You process out loud what the world buries in silence. That is not a disorder. That is a depth of humanity that this world, loud, fast, surface level, desperately needs more of. So, to the version of you who still flinches when the tears come, who still looks up at the ceiling, who still apologizes for caring out loud, you are not behind. You are not overreacting. You are not the problem in every room where someone made you feel like too much. You were the one who was paying attention when everyone else looked away. Stop apologizing for that. Start asking who taught you to. Your tears were never the weakness. The silence was. Feel everything. Apologize for nothing.